It's been 15 years since Judith Petty died in a structure fire at her family's farm. Now there's new movement in the investigation. I'm joined by Melissa Sandberg, who is part of her cold case team investigation and has been working with law enforcement to bring Petty justice. And so, Sandberg, I know that you host a podcast and a Facebook page called Safe Haven to try to keep the community aware of where the investigation is. And then, like we said, there is new movement. Can you tell us a little bit about what this movement is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have been working on this case for almost a year now, and we have uncovered new leads, new information that has never before been mentioned in the case files, nor has anyone looked into it. So it's a very exciting time right now for the Judy Petty case, and we're making great strides.
And you said that there were 2 new names brought into this. How did those names get brought up?
You know, what part of Safe Haven, what we do is crowdsource. And so we have a Facebook page, it's called Safe Haven, the unsolved murder of Judith Petty. And in there, people are crowdsourcing and they're trying to help give us information as to, you know, what's going on. You know, people in the community talk, people, you know, have heard things. And so that is how we're getting new information, is people are coming forward finally and just kind of saying, hey, I don't know if there's any truth to this, but this is what I've heard, or this is what I know, and it's really made a difference in this case.
And so when new movement like this, you know, comes about, what is the process of that? I know you're from Florida, so you have to fly all the way here. Tell us a little about that process.
So, you know, first we want to make sure that it's a credible source or lead, and so we start looking into that. So I start digging in, making phone calls, connecting with people, trying to determine, is there any truth or validity behind what's being said. Then, you know, I've been working with Doug Strom, part of the prosecuting attorney's office, and we share information back and forth. I send him the information and get his take, and then from there, that's why we're back here now, is because the information we have received has been credible enough to warrant me even coming back to say, let's investigate more and boots on the ground.
And so what has this new movement done for the current investigation? Where are we at now?
So we are in a really good place. So it's the best place that we've been in 15 years in this case. And we are actively this weekend looking at, you know, re-interviewing people who've never been interviewed. We're talking to them. We have reason to believe that there is new evidence out on the Petty property, on the cellar, that we are going to investigate further. So there's been a lot of advancements in technology, forensic technology, that allows us to go back to the cellar and to have things tested. And so it's a really good time right now. And
I know that you also are close with the family.
Yes.
So how does something like this impact them whenever these new movements get made?
They're really happy right now. I saw Mr. and Mrs. Petty yesterday, and the Petty family, the girls, they're not girls, they're women, but you know, the sisters of Judy, and you know, embrace them, hug them. They are so happy with what we're doing. Both Mr. and Mrs. Petty, of course, as we know, are older, and they are happy that we're back and happy with this new information. It's given them hope again, and that's the one thing is, in a year since we started this, they have never felt so much hope that we're going to solve this.
I love that word, hope. So we talked about where it's at currently. What about the future? So where do we go from here?
So we continue to go on the track we're going. We're going to have things reinvestigated, re-looked at the cellar, because that's where Judy was found. Her remains were in the cellar. And there's still evidence to be had out there. And I think with the technology, I think that something's going to come along, and these new information, new leads, new names, it's opened up a lot more doors for us than ever before.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out to come here and talk to us about this. We really appreciate it. You can find all that information, including links to our previous coverage of this case and the Facebook and your podcast as well. So if people want to find more information about that, they can do it there as well. And if you have any information, you can call the confidential tip line at 224-225-5208 or send an email to tips@justiceforjudy.com. You can also send a message through Facebook at Safe Haven, the unsolved murder of Judith Petty.